introduce yourself. So tell me a little about what you guys are doing. Jessica, do you have something you're working on right now? Because I want to make sure that this is actually helping you guys get somewhere and not just giving you in general information.
Okay.
There's
No,
there's
so
go ahead.
so no, I don't have anything specifically that I'm working on right now. So I have been doing my research on wholesale real estate.
Okay.
Um, Again, just beginning stages of wholesale real estate. I am a working mom, 13, 14-year career in finance and technology, but I do want to venture off into something for myself in the near future. So I'm really in the beginning stages right now.
Okay. Great. No worries. What are you hoping to get out of this? Like, what's kind of the struggle that we're hoping to solve here?
So definitely balance between career, demanding career. I have a 3-year-old, first time mom. So just trying to balance career and raising a child.
Yeah.
So just those responsibilities. So that's been my main struggle, and just really, I don't know, I guess just finding the energy and motivation to, or just really the path to starting something for my own.
Okay. Completely understand. And we're looking at, so do you have a job or anything right now, or are you just wanting to do the real estate because you think it's something
No,
you can do from home?
no. So I do have a job. I have a full-time job. Again, I work from home mostly. I'm in technology, so I do have some flexibility throughout the day. But I do have a full-time job and career.
Kind of wanting to balance the work that you have and the family, and then
Yes.
kind of having that energy to still start something new.
Yes, correct. Along with, trying to go to the gym, cook a healthy, have a healthy balance at home and meals. So yes, just trying to balance it all.
Okay, I got you. Sounds good. And then Carrie, let me unmute you, or I guess you have to unmute you now. There we go. Carrie, tell me a little about yourself. What do you have a job or something you're working on right now, and what are you hoping to get out of this challenge?
I do. So I am a full-time working single mom. I actually do ultrasound full-time at an OBGYN office, but my kind of side hustle is a multi-level marketing health and wellness supplement business. And basically, kind of like Jessica, I finding that balance to be able to do all the things, to work my full-time job, to work my MLM business, to be a mom, help with that for sure. And then also maybe more so like kind of branding myself in a way. I feel like I've been working on that here lately. So some help with that also would be really nice.
And I'm going to assume it's just going to be the three of us since nobody's on yet. We're not going to wait for him anymore. We're just going to roll. I respect you guys' time. I know you got families and everything, and it's late, so we got stuff going on. So I'm not going to drag it out and give you a bunch of fluff hour-long stuff, okay? The first thing I want to talk about is I want you guys to understand where I'm coming from with this. So for me, I've spent $2,500 a month on coaching ever since day one. And coaching is this guy does real estate and he'll teach you real estate and it's $9,000. This guy is a life coach and he'll teach you life coaching and it's $2,000 a month. But when it comes to building a funnel or branding, he gives you somebody else. And then they want $5,000. And anytime you sign up for a little challenge like this or a course, they come on here and they give you tons of information. You might get to ask a couple questions, and then that's about it. And you don't really get feedback. They kind of give you generic, lots of talk for an hour or so, and you never really know how long it's going to be either. So I am very, how do we take all that information and make it work in the real world? And as a coach, that's what I like to do is I work the life and the business side. So I go out and I spend lots of money learning how to do lots of different things. I have different business models myself, and I work with a lot of different people in different areas to where I can stay knowledgeable in a lot of different areas. And then I pass that all along to people that I work with. And so anything I do, I don't care how much it is or if it's free, like our free strategy calls. I want to make sure that I'm giving you so much practical value for what you're trying to do that you could actually take action on it. So that's why in here, I wanted you to introduce yourself and tell me what we're working with, and I'm taking notes, because this will not be just me speaking to you for an hour every day for the next 15 days, just to fluff you up and sell you something later. I want to actually work with you through this challenge so that you can start to implement on these things that you're wanting to do. Okay, that way, if you never hear from me again, you've got stuff you can work on. Now, when it comes to doing anything, the very first thing you have to do is decide, or is make a decision, like a real decision. Because a lot of people decide they want to do something, and then they kind of go do it. Or they decide they want to do something, but then as soon as the next thing comes along, they decide they want to try that too. And that's the reason that we can't succeed. That's the reason that we have jump around so much and we don't get anywhere. So the very first thing, that's why I want you to understand this challenge, what we're going to do. We're going to dig into what you have going on, and we're going to help you create the actual steps and plans so that you're clear on what you're trying to do and how you're going to do it. Okay, so day one here, getting to know each other, me and you. And the first thing that I want you to think about, and that we're going to dig into, is making a definitive choice to do what it is that you're wanting to do. So if you say you want to find balance between all these things, you need to know what things we're trying to balance, right? What is it exactly? Is it starting real estate? Is it branding? Is it the MLM? You know, we kind of need to find what exactly we're wanting to find the balance in. And then we need to decide how much time each one's going to take. And we need to make a decision to do what is necessary. If that's loud, I'm waiting for that siren to pass. Then we need to decide to do what's necessary to make that happen. Okay? And I'll give you a short story. I know if you followed me, if you've been in the group for a little while in the Momentum Entrepreneurs, you know I went to the Rise Business Conference with what's her name? Hollis. I can't think of her first. Rachel Hollis. And this lady that I was sitting next to, they had us do an exercise where we had to talk to each other about the goals and the plans that we were trying to create. And this lady next to me, she said that she wanted a side hustle, but she didn't know what it was. And me being a coach, I just naturally was asking questions. And I said, well, what is it you're wanting to do with the side hustle? And she said, well, I'm thinking about this and I'm thinking about this. And I said, what are you wanting to achieve with the side hustle? Like, are you just wanting to make an extra $1,000 a month? Or, you know, what is it you're wanting to do? What's the side hustle wanting to provide you? Or what are you wanting it to provide you? And she said that she was a full-time nurse, so she didn't need the money, but she didn't want to be a full-time nurse for the rest of her life. She wanted to actually have her side hustle be her full-time gig. And so I looked at her and I go, well, that's not a side hustle. A side hustle is, I have a job, I have a family, I have a life, and I like what I'm doing, and I need a little something extra on the side to make a few extra bucks. That's a side hustle. She wanted her side hustle to become her full-time job. You cannot look at it the same way. You can't look at it as a side hustle, because if it's a side hustle, you'll give it time when you have time. You know, right? You won't go at it the same way. If the intention of that side hustle is to replace her job, then she needs to set a time. 12 months from now, my side hustle will be my full-time job. Now we can create the plan to get that side hustle to replace the job in 12 months. But as long as she had the decision in her head of, I'm a nurse, and I want a side hustle just because I want a side hustle, then her mind is not going to attack that side hustle in a way that's going to help her replace her job. Does that make sense? And we all do this. And we all do this all the time.
Yeah.
We do it with finances and things too. Like, we don't make a decision and understand what we have and what we're trying to do. People say, I say, dig into your finances and tell me how much you need to pay your bills every month. And then that's the income that you need every month. Well, something my wife and I did the other day, she went through the bills and she goes, we need X amount of dollars to survive. And I looked at her and I said, to survive? We have granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, a brand new car. You mean survive? We need X amount of dollars to live the way we want to live. Once you make decisions on, I'm going to do this to create this, then there's a clarity and you'll go at it differently. If you are struggling financially, but you don't see it as really struggling, then you won't go at it as though you're really struggling. And let me kind of expand on that a little bit. If you say, we're not making enough money to pay our bills, but then you dig into your finances and you realize my bills are this much and we're making this much and the bills always get paid, but we're not happy with not having extra to go do things. Your mind is seeing that they're getting paid barely, but they are. So you know that you're actually okay with what you're making. So you don't go in and put the extra time in to make the extra money to improve the lifestyle and the income, right? Because you haven't decided, I'm going to do whatever is necessary to get to. You've said, I'm comfortable here, and you haven't made a choice to change. So the very first thing we need to start with, no matter what you're trying to accomplish or create, is that you want to physically write down, and then you're going to read it every day, a couple times a day, in first person. I am going to do this. I am going to exchange this for this. So if it's real estate, we'll use that for an example. A lot of people say they want to get into real estate and they dabble in it. If you say you want to dabble in it, you won't make enough offers to get any properties under contract. You just won't, because you have to make 25 to 30 offers before you get one contract. So if you're dabbling in it, you're not going to give it enough time to make 20, 30 offers, and you might make 5 to 10, not get a contract, get discouraged, and leave. And you kind of quit and you move on. But if you make a decision, I'm going to be a real estate investor, period. This is how I'm going to make money. I want so many deals every month. I'm going to put in 50 offers a month to get 2 deals every month. And that's what I need to get the goals I'm after. But you have to first make a decision that I will be a real estate investor, and this is how I'm going to make my money. Right? Because until you say, I am going to be this, and I will do whatever is necessary to become this, you'll always be kind of dabbling in it, and your mind won't help you actually accomplish it. Our subconscious mind never stops working. So if you can give your subconscious mind a very clear picture as to what you're trying to create and why, then even when you're sleeping, this is what's cool. Even when you're sleeping, your mind will continue to work and you'll wake up knowing things that you need to get done to accomplish the goal that you're trying to create. If you say, I'd like to get into real estate, you're never actually going to do anything or have any ideas. Right? But if you say, I'm going to flip a house in the next 60 days, then your mind goes, oh crap, how are we going to flip a house in the next 60 days? And it starts trying to figure that out. It goes, well, I need to buy a house. How do I buy a house? And then it figures that out. And it says, okay, well, how many offers do I have to make before I get one? Okay, 25 offers. So now how do I make 25 offers? How do I find the properties? You see how by saying that one thing, I'm going to flip a house in 60 days, it reverts back and your mind starts trying to figure out how how it can do that. But if you say, I'm going to get into real estate, it's not going to happen. And it's the same thing with your branding. You are your brand all the time. All the time. And you are your MLM all the time. If you want either one to succeed, you have to decide, do they work together? Are you branding yourself as this to sell the MLM? Are you selling the product as the MLM, or are you signing people up under you in your MLM? Right? You have to decide what it is you're trying to do and make a decision. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to brand myself in life and my family from every angle to where I am signing people up under my MLM as Carrie Falk, right? And then everything you do revolves around that. Now, if we first make a decision, now, does that make sense to everybody first before I go on?
Yes, absolutely.
Do we have
Yep.
questions or anything on that? Like, is it spurring anything, or are you kind of good?
No, right on.
No.
So once we make that decision, right, I want to get into this. Now, this is the reason, this is going to address the balance, okay? The reason balance of life and work feels unbalanced is because it always will be. It always will be. And once we understand that and we decide we're okay with that and we're going to do what's necessary on both sides, then our mind gets on board with us and will help us figure out what we're doing. If we make that choice, that definitive decision that I am going to become a real estate investor, I am going to flip a house in 60 days. Now you know that's all you need to do on your business is make offers, right? So if you don't know how to make offers, then the first step is figuring out how to make offers. And this is how you find your balance. You're only working on that. You know exactly what you're working on. So that means if you only have 30 minutes a day around the family and you're giving them your full-time attention as a mom or your full-time job, and you know you only have an hour before bed every night, this is where you find the balance. If you know what you're trying to accomplish, you'll be super productive in that 1 hour that you have. And you won't feel like you're not getting anywhere because you'll know what you're doing in your life and you'll know what you're doing in your business. So it all comes with like making your choice first. So many people say, I'd like to dabble in this, or I'd kind of like to try this. And they're the ones that never get anywhere, period. It doesn't matter how much money they spend to learn it or invest. It's nothing more than a mindset shift. And this is why this Prep for Success challenge to me was so important. Everybody's setting 2020 goals because there's tons of information out there teaching you how to invest in real estate, but how do you get your mind right to actually stick with it when you feel like, I don't have enough time, I haven't been putting in enough offers, or I missed work on it all this week, I'm such a failure. If you know what you're trying to accomplish and you've made a decision to do it, and you understand why you're doing it and how you're doing it, then when those times get tough or you miss something, you're going to feel like, that's okay. All I have to do is this. I missed it today, but I have an hour tomorrow here. Oh, I have 20 minutes. I know exactly what I'm working on. You can jump in and work on it for 20 minutes and then get back to the important stuff. And I'm going to say the important stuff is being mama and being, taking care of the kids first, because I'm not a mama, but I do understand mama will always come first. You will always be a mom before you're a branded MLM or before you're a real estate investor. I get that. So you need to find your gaps in mom life because everybody's is different. You have to find your gaps in mom life and make a decision that in those gaps, you're going to work on this one thing. If it's real estate, if it's branding, whatever it is, that's the only focus. So I want you to write down what it is that you're wanting to work on and what you want to create. Because when you say you want to get into real estate, you're just getting started. Real estate is big, broad, right? And over this 15 days, we're going to work on what exactly you're trying to accomplish, because you always want to start at the end and work back. But if it's wholesaling and you want to wholesale houses because, hey, I don't have any money and I want to start from scratch, then say you're going to work on wholesaling, period. That means if a course or a free seminar comes along about flipping houses, screw it. It's not your thing. Don't take it on. Don't sign up for it. Don't sign up for the webinar. Don't waste your time because it's not in line with your goal and with the decision that you've made to be a wholesaler on being a mom. This is why people can't find the balance. They want to wholesale houses as a full-time working mom, and then a flipping conference comes along and they go, oh, I love HGTV, and they go to the flip conference and it has nothing to do with wholesaling. So now we're confused because now our mind is going, are we flipping or are we wholesaling? Because there's a difference in the way we figure the offers. With your MLM, are you selling product or are you signing people up? There will be collateral damage and you can do both, but if you focus on one or the other, that's how it'll thrive essentially in your spare time. Because if you say, I'm looking for team members to sign up, that's a different presentation and a different client than if you're trying to sell your actual product to somebody. One of the ladies in the group, her name is Sisa. She's from Zimbabwe. And I actually got on the call with her. I gave her the strategy call just like everybody else, knowing she's from a poor country and and like nobody has any money. But that's her problem. She's been in MLM for 4 years, and everybody she tries to sign up underneath her is basically saying, we don't have the money, and who are we going to sign up to get our money? And so for her, she'd never thought about just selling the product and going to like hospitals and clinics and old folks' homes where they could use the health products and marketing directly to them as a customer of the products instead of clients to sign up to make money selling her products under her as her team. So there's two different marketing strategies. There's two different brandings, right? There's two different presentations when you're talking MLM that way. Because if you're talking to me on an MLM, my question is always, are you trying to sign me up or are you trying to sell me products? And I'm never really sure. Every person I've ever talked to with MLM, I think they're trying to sign me up, but then they're telling me I still got to buy the products. And I'm like, well, are you trying to sell me products or are you trying to sign me up? So if you make a decision on which one you want to focus on, then you can start crafting your branding to attract that type of person. Does that make sense? Because if you want to brand yourself, then you need them looking at you in one way or the other. If you just want to sell them products, and you run a Facebook ad, or you make a live video, you're going to talk to them differently than you are trying to sign people up on your team as a way for them to make money as a fitness mom from home, right? So decide on which one you want to focus on, because then your branding of yourself is going to brand yourself in that direction towards that type of person. So if you brand yourself as just selling the actual product, you're still going to get some people that go, man, this is really awesome. How can I do this? And you can sign them up as part of your team. But you would focus on selling your products and branding yourself that way. They buy the products, they think this is awesome, they sign up for your team. And it's collateral damage that they sign up because you're focused on that, or vice versa, right? You focus on signing up team members, then you would craft your message to be how you make money from home as a single mom, and how you stay fit, and how you use these products, right? And how they can do it too. So this is where the decision comes in. Because if you're going to take care of the kids and the job and yourself, then you just have to make decisions in each area. Are you going to go to the gym every day? Or are you going to work out in your living room? How long is the workout going to take? These need to be decisions that are made, because that's how you stick to it. If you say, I'm going to 20 minutes in the living room minimum every single day is my fitness. Because I have the kids, my mind says this is okay. As a mommy, I don't feel guilty leaving them here for more than 20 minutes. So 20 minutes is guaranteed every day here. This is how you're going to get your energy, is by making the decision in your mind where you are comfortable with it. Right? Like my wife, she doesn't have to go to the gym. She really doesn't care. She doesn't like driving to the gym and being there the whole time. If she can, but she will drive for a yoga class because that's her thing. It doesn't feel bad if it's up to a certain amount of time, but once it gets after an hour away, she's like, I miss my babies, you know, and she starts feeling bad about taking care of herself. With some people, that's 10 minutes, right? But you have to make that decision. Is it 10 minutes or is it an hour? We start making these definitive decisions in your life on every aspect. Okay, and it first comes from going through your schedule and saying, this is what I want. I want to be in shape. I want to have my energy. Your energy comes, or you lose your energy and you feel drained all the time because you feel like you're all over the place and you've been run ragged all day long, taking care of everybody else, and you really want to take care of yourself, but you feel bad about it. And so you save some time for yourself if you have time. And then you feel like you never give yourself time. And then as soon as you do, you're like, oh, I could have done this. It's because you haven't said, this is how it's done. So if you make those choices and you set it out saying 20 minutes a day is mine every day at nap time, you know, or right before bed. You know, some people say they want to give the family everything first and they'll take time for themselves after the family goes to sleep. Well, then I'm tired. Say it's 10 minutes then. Take 10 minutes before you go to bed. You have to tailor it to what feels best in your mind to fit into your schedule and make the choice and then write them down. For 20 minutes before bed, every single night, I'm going to work out, take my shower, read, and go to sleep. Mommy comes first all day. For us, with the workouts and things, we live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the YMCA at the Dowd, you can actually bring your kids and drop them off at the daycare for 2 hours inside the YMCA. So we started going to the gym at the same time and we planned it into our day. So I get up in the morning and I actually get the girls out of bed. I do a morning routine with them. I comb their hair, get them dressed, brush their teeth, get breakfast. And then I sit Ava, my 5-year-old, I sit her down and start homeschooling with her. And then my wife comes out and takes over then. And then I go to work and I work on my biggest projects first, because in the morning you've got more energy and this is my full-time job, so I don't have to go to work. So in the morning I work on my big tasks first, and then we'll go to the gym either at noon till 2 o'clock or from 4 to 6 o'clock because they're closed from 2 to 4. So, but we budget that into our day. 2 hours where we both, me and her both, go to the gym at the same time. We drop the girls off in the daycare and we go and get a workout in, and then we just sit together. If we're done early, we sit together. Or we work on the business stuff right there at the Y, and then we pick the girls up, we come back home, and we finish other things in the day. So we made the choice though. 5 days a week, we were gonna be at the gym, working out for an hour to an hour and a half, and sitting for half an hour, 5 days a week, either from noon to 2 or from 4 to 6. And we said, this is part of our schedule. I lose 2 hours of my workday every day to do this because we decided this was important. It makes me feel better when I'm getting my workout in. And we don't feel bad about it because we happen to have a place where we can drop the girls off and they get to play and have a good time with other kids. Right? So for us, this works. For some people, it doesn't. Your town doesn't have a gym or something, right? But some people could drop them off with mom and dad, with grandma and grandpa that live right down the street. And you wouldn't feel bad if you knew I was only dropping them off for an hour and a half or an hour. But that comes with a choice, with a decision to say an hour every day at this time for this. And the same with your learning to improve on your next thing, right? If it's branding or growing your MLM, set amount of time every day, just like you would your workout, just like you would nap time, right? You're making everything in your day for your children is like a priority. But then when it comes to business and yourself, you're saying, if I have time, I might. And this is what your mind is hearing. So every time the kid needs something, it's drop it and run. Go and take care of the kid. And that's making your mind believe that you're always taking care of everybody else and you never get any time for yourself. And this is the narrative you create in your head, and that's what wears you out and drags you down. If you know, I get up in the morning and I get my girls around and I start homeschooling, and at 9:30 I swap with my wife and she takes homeschooling, and then at noon I'm done and I'm going to sit down and have lunch with my family, then I know from 9:30 to noon it's straight business. I don't have to take care of them because they're taking care of my mom at that time. And she knows, and we both know, that when we go to the gym, we don't need to think about the kids and worry about whether we're being good parents, because they're having a good time with friends and they're well taken care of. And this is us time for workout and spending time together. So our time is very precise or decisive, however you want to say it. But everybody has to start by doing that in their own life. Because some people need 2 hours in the gym every day just to cut loose, because it's where they cut loose. The gym is not my favorite place in the world. I do it because it gives me energy. It makes me feel better. But ultimately, it is not where I would go spend my time if I have extra time. So I still have to make the choice to say, this is what I'm going to do at this time, 5 days a week minimum. And then it becomes that habit that sticks. So what decisions do you know right now in your life where you're at? What's the decisions right now that you know are easy to make? So I have to go to work from 9 to 5. That's a decision that has to be made. I have, the kids always eat breakfast at this time and off to the school bus at this time, and then I've got this much time. What are those decisions that you know are like non-negotiable? And then what are the things that you want to add in? Carrie, you give me some first. Tell me some of the decisions that you make about this. What pops in your mind there?
So definitely, because I do have a full-time job, and my job is like 7:30 to 4 typically. I think the biggest decision around that, as far as schedule is concerned, is my workout being before or after work. I need to decide about possibly getting up earlier and starting my day a little bit earlier so I can get my workout done in the morning and have more time for my daughter in the evening. And then usually, as far as like,
how long does your workout?
Sorry, go ahead. Usually 30 minutes. 30 minutes is pretty typical, because I have to keep it kind of short, especially if I do it in the evenings. So usually 30 minutes.
And how old are you?
How old is my daughter?
Yeah, sorry.
She's 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what time does she get up?
Usually about 6:30. So I'm kind of thinking that I could do a workout from like 6 to 6:30 is what I'm thinking. And that would really be better for me than in the evenings, although I've been working out in the evenings for a couple of years. But I just see where, like you were saying, you feel guilty, and, if I get it done before she even wakes up, then I would get rid of that feeling.
Right. And so then then that's just a simple decision, right? You say, okay, from now on, I'm getting up at 6:15, and or what did I say? Yes. What'd you say? Get workout from like 6 to 6:30?
Yeah.
Okay, so like you say, I'm getting up at 5:30. I'm working out from 6 to 6:30. right? That's a decision. You have to
Right.
make the decision and say, this is the way it is. This is the days that I'm going to.
Right.
If you don't make that decision, you say, well, I could work out in the morning before she gets up. It won't stick. Right?
Yeah.
So when you think about that,
Yes.
then just make the decision. Okay, so what else?
And then the other thing would be in the evenings, I usually do a lot of work with social media. And so probably just setting aside maybe like 20 minutes or so where I can get on social media, make the posts that are related to my business. I've kind of just been doing that sporadically throughout the day because I haven't made the decision to set aside time for that. So I definitely want to make time, like a scheduled time in the evening after my daughter goes to bed for that.
So do you feel like as a mom with the social media stuff, do you feel like you're not paying enough attention to your child when you're home with her and you're messing with the social media? So
Yes, absolutely.
a simple shift of saying, what time does she go to bed?
Usually at 8.
Okay, so she goes to bed at 8. A simple shift would be saying, turn off all the notifications for all of your social media. You don't need to hear it. You don't even need the little ding popping up or the little red tag popping up saying you have a message or a notification. Forget it. Screw it. It's not important. This is family time. The decision's been made.
Right.
After work until 8 o'clock is family time. And then from 8 or whenever she goes to sleep, because my kids never go to sleep right on time.
Yeah. Yeah.
An easy way of not feeling like you've messed up. If you say from 8 to 9, I'm going to do social media, and she doesn't go to bed till 8:30, sometimes we feel like, oh, I screwed up. Just go from 8:30 to 9:30. So if you say
Yeah.
from when she goes
Okay.
to bed, the first 30 minutes as soon as I put her to bed, or the first 45 or the first hour right when they go to bed, from bedtime, the next 30 minutes is social media. I check everything, respond to everything. I have 30 minutes. But at this time,
Yeah.
I've given everything to the family. Everybody's asleep. And now, if it takes 45 minutes or an hour, you're not going to feel better. And then that's
Yeah, that sounds good.
You're saying this time. That's the simple
Yeah.
differences from just knowing what it is that you're trying to do and then protecting it like it was a child. Say, this time is for social media. Can I give you a call when the kids?
Yes.
Well, she goes to sleep at 8. I'll be done with my work at 9. You can call me at 9. Right? Because
Yeah, that sounds really good.
that's the decision that you made in your day.
See, it's almost 8 and she's not anywhere close to
That's what I mean.
wanting to go to bed.
And that's your life. That's what gets a lot of people frustrated, is because they think, okay, at 8 o'clock, instead of when she goes to bed, they say, at 8 o'clock. So then if she doesn't fall asleep till 8:30, they feel bad about themselves, like they screwed up or they messed up or now I'm behind.
Yes.
Set the time as more of a half an hour or 45 minutes or an hour, and say when she goes to bed, because you know, as a parent, you know your child, and you know that might be 8, 8:15, 8:30, 9. But once she goes to sleep, the next
Yeah.
hour is business on social media, and then I'm done. And then put
Yeah.
it on. You know what I mean? But protect that time and keep it as more of a amount of time instead of an actual time. The same thing goes.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of people read that Miracle Morning and it says get up at 5 o'clock. And they're like, I am not getting up at 5. Or I tried getting up at 5 and I did it for a week. And then I screwed up and I slept till like 5:45. And they instantly feel like they've messed up. Now they feel like their whole day's messed up because they started off on the wrong foot. Well, in all actuality, your morning routine is when you wake up. I worked night shift as a police officer for 5.5 years. I went to work at 9 at night and got off work at 7 in the morning. So when I woke up, my morning was 2 in the afternoon. So 2 in the afternoon was my morning time. I can't get up at 5. I'm still at work. So does that mean the miracle morning wouldn't work for me because I can't wake up at 5? No, 5 isn't the important thing. The important thing is what you're doing with your time right when you get out of bed in the morning. Does that make sense? So don't let
Yeah, absolutely.
so don't let the times themselves make you feel like you're behind or you're screwing up. Okay?
Okay.
So I know
Yeah.
those are big ones for you. Job is kind of non-negotiable, 7:30 to 4. And then I'm taking 4 o'clock till about 8 o'clock is going to be family time. And then when they go to bed for half an hour to an hour, or when she goes to bed, half an hour to an hour is social media on business. And we'll go into more on the branding
Yes.
over the next 14 days too. So we'll get in deeper to that for you.
Okay.
If you get up at 5:30, work out
Thank you.
6:30, that's a solid start to finding the balance in life comes from the clarity.
Yeah.
And the balance in life will come because you're clear on what you're doing and you know when you're doing what. You won't feel like you're not paying enough attention with your kids if 4 to 8 o'clock is for the kids. Be like, hey, I just gave her 4 hours uninterrupted time, not checking my phone, and now I get an hour uninterrupted checking social. Okay. Do you feel good with those decisions right off the bat?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, now a real quick one that I want to get you to real fast before we keep going is, do you want to focus on selling product or signing up team members?
So for that, while you were talking about that, I was thinking, and I really think that it should be more customer driven. So I feel like it's the way that, like, yeah, a product, yes. I feel like the way that our compensation plan is set up, that we benefit more from that. But also you kind of get, like you said, you'll get the customers who really love the product and then want to know how to build a business as well.
And it's a lot easier to sign them up when they ask you, how do I do this?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Anytime you're selling anything, if you can get them to ask you how to do it, it's already sold. And the reason they're asking is because you've given them enough value that they know, wow, they know what they're talking about, and I trust them, and I know that if I do what they do, it'll be good for me. And so you don't have to sell things. You show them how awesome it is. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So you're gonna focus on selling the product then.
Yes.
So all of your branding is for these decisions that you've made. All of your branding time and the way you work things and the amount of time you spend on it needs to fit into these gaps.
Okay.
If workout is from 6 to 6:30, you're not working on your branding during that time. You're working out from 6 to 6:30.
Right.
Okay, stuff like that. So protect the times and focus on figuring out ways to sell the product. Now I want you to write these down, these decisions, in first person. I have decided I'm going to focus on branding myself, selling my products, or selling my products through branding myself as this fitness person, right? And I want you to write it down and I want you to read it in the morning and at night. So in the morning you get up with your fitness stuff, you work out, you read it. These are my decisions. These are my times. Okay? And the same before bed. That keeps your subconscious mind saying, this is what I'm doing, and it will help you throughout the day. It'll start to drive you nuts because your subconscious mind will be constantly trying to figure out how to do it, and you'll come up with so many ideas that you didn't even realize you could come up with. It'll be almost annoying. It'll be hard to get work done. Like real job work.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It all makes perfect sense.
Okay, good. We're gonna get deeper into it as we go. So, all right, Jessica.
Yeah.
You tell me too. And then, okay. So, what decisions that you know of right off the bat, just from us talking and us working, what stuff has stood out to you? Like, these are decisions I know I have right off the bat.
So I know for sure I have a lack of a schedule. So I'm fortunate enough that I have a a good career with a lot of flexibility. I'm able to work from home, which is what brought me to North Carolina. I was able to take a position with the bank that I work with, and I'm able to work from home mostly. So I am able to have, it was a decision that I made after having my son. My son is 3.5 years old. It was a decision that I made to come out here just because of the flexibility, but I feel like the flexibility part of it has almost made me a little stagnant in my, I guess, drive to achieve balance, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So, my son goes to daycare, of course, and I typically start my day around 9 o'clock in the morning. So I feel like I have, my mornings with my son, but I have a lot of time in the mornings where I could dedicate to, starting something just to better my future. And I know that I've been doing some research in wholesaling, real estate wholesaling, which I really want to, start something in, but I haven't really taken full direction. I'm just kind of at a loss as to, what to do with my time. I do have time. I know I have time. I know I can structure my day in a better way where I can be more efficient. I just feel, I don't have a good direction at the moment.
Yeah. So the flexibility, a lot of times, being very flexible with the schedule like that, a lot of times it causes us to exactly that. I could do a bunch of things. So what do I do?
And I do nothing.
Right. And so we all do. Don't worry, it's not just you. We all do. And this is one of the biggest struggles for entrepreneurs. And this is the reason I want to address this, is because you can go out and you can find all day long a course to teach you how to flip houses and wholesale houses. And you can get a life coach to make you feel happy about yourself. Like, how do you make it all work? And so, because just like that, you have the time, you have the time, but there's so many things you could do. What do we do? And so,
right.
What time does your son go to daycare?
He's typically out of the house 8:30, 8:45. He starts. Yeah.
What time does he get done, or when do you pick him up?
5:30, whenever my day is done.
Okay, and then you work on your job from 9 to 5?
9 to 5, yeah. I mean, I have flexibility. If I need to pick him up earlier, I can. It just depends on the day. Some days earlier, some days my husband will pick him up. It I have a lot of flexibility.
Okay, you're flexible on when you come and go to work if you have to pick somebody up or do something, right? But still, for the most part, the workday is set.
Yes.
Okay. And so you're wanting to get into real estate, and you're wanting to make sure that we get workouts in.
Yes, that's important to me. I feel that when I have I feel like when I take care of myself, I am in a better mind frame to stay focused.
Yeah.
And have more just stamina to just keep a structure. I feel like, so I recently moved as well. So I feel like I don't have structure, and I'm just a little nervous about going into the next year without a real focus or a real structure in my life. Really.
What time do you wake up?
So I'm not a morning person, which I do want to train myself to be a morning person, but I typically, I feel better when I wake up around 8 a.m.
Okay.
I know that when I work out, I can wake up earlier. Like I feel more like myself.
Yeah. So you said you want to get up more in the morning. Why do you want to get up more in the morning?
Well, because my day can stretch a lot. My day would stretch a lot more. I know I can get a lot more accomplished. I would have more energy in the mornings as opposed to in the evenings when I do have a very grueling day. I'm in back-to-back calls. just very analytical work. So I know that in the morning time, I can accomplish a lot more.
Okay. And then what do you have like for a lunch break since you're at your house? Do you have like an hour you take off?
Yeah, depending on the day, an hour to 30 to an hour.
The reason I ask is because you just said, you talk about being flexible, you're working from home. You're talking about the way you feel. So in your mind, this is what I'm hearing you say. You're telling yourself, which is the reason you're identifying yourself as this way, and the reason you're not liking the idea of getting up in the morning is because you keep telling yourself you're not a morning person. But then you're also telling yourself you feel better when you work out. Okay? So you have to make the choice that you will work out, period, and at what times. Now, you're right. When you work out, it gets the blood flowing in your body. It actually fires the creativity in your mind, and I believe it reduces your cortisol levels and stuff like that too, okay, which is your stress hormones or your stress chemicals. And so it has a lot of positive things in there, right? You don't have to get up at 5 o'clock to be all fitness guru. If we're after it for the energy and the way it makes us feel, you're liking the way it makes you feel inside with that energy. And that's from that's from the chemicals that it releases and the way it strikes your mind and the way it makes your body feel by moving. Not necessarily, you didn't say, well, I want to go do a bikini contest, right? So it doesn't matter about hitting the gym for 2 hours and getting some physique that you see in a magazine. You're after energy. You want to feel good.
Right.
So you don't need to get up at 5 o'clock to get an hour workout, right? You're usually up at 8, and that's when you feel good. When does your son get up? What time?
6:30.
So is he up with dad?
Between me and my husband, yeah.
Okay.
So I feel good waking up at 8. My son wakes up around 6:30. He'll lay in bed with us, So I'm in and out of sleep until like 8 o'clock.
Okay.
But myself, like I will get out of bed around 8 o'clock. That's when I feel good. If you ask me when would I feel good, it would be 8 o'clock.
Okay. Hold on just a second. My computer's going to die. I need to plug it in because my light, I had one outlet on the side of this building for my light or my computer. Hold on just a second.
No worries.
Okay. I'll be a little bit darker, but not bad. Now the computer won't die. Okay. So go baby steps. Everybody tries to go from I'm not a morning person, and they've told themselves that for 20 years, and then they read the book The Miracle Morning and they're like, I'm going to get up at 5. And that's the reason it doesn't work. They're going from 8 to 5.
Yeah.
If let's say you want to start getting a 20-30 minute workout in the morning and then 20-30 minutes at lunch, or do just 15 minutes of getting around and getting active in the morning and then 15 minutes at lunch, because it's going to create the energy that you like at 2 different times of the day. First thing in the morning, it'll help you get moving and started better. And then at lunchtime, it'll refuel you. It'll re-energize you. And then just so you know, the actual neuroscience and the studies behind it show that if you work for about 45 minutes and then take a 15-minute break to do anything, veg out and watch TV, go for a walk, do some push-ups, sit-ups, whatever, and then do 45 minutes, 15-minute break, 45, 15, that's actually going to help you be the most productive with your mind, your mindset.
So what is that again? Working
for 45 minutes and then taking a 15-minute break.
Okay.
The neuroscience supports that you're actually going to be more productive in the 45 minutes and then taking a 15-minute break to just not think about work.
Yeah, I believe that.
So,
absolutely.
So if you're wanting to do work out in the way it feels, do 45 to 60 minutes of work and then go for a walk around the block, and then work 45 minutes to an hour, walk around the block, or do some sit-ups right in the house, do some body squats, things like that. It's going to give you energy throughout your work day, and you will actually get more of a workout doing that, 10 minutes every hour than
right.
Getting up an hour early and trying to force yourself doing it before work.
Gotcha. Okay.
Feel good
Yep.
getting up at
That
8,
makes sense.
then get up at 7:45, or get up
Right.
at and just do 15 minutes of movement, body weight exercise right at your house,
Right. Okay.
and then do an hour of work and do 5-10 minutes of something. You'll essentially be working out throughout your whole day instead of getting a 45-minute workout and then just sitting dormant at your desk for the next 8 hours.
8 hours. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Makes
feel
sense.
completely worn out because you said your day was pretty grueling with phone calls all day.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
So that's the reason I suggested spreading your workout throughout your day, is because it's going to reset your mind to where you won't feel as beat at the end of your day.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I feel. And I feel like, well, all I've actually really done all day is wake up, and I've sat here and I've been at my computer and I'm exhausted. And how is that possible? And that's a really depressing feeling at the end of the day.
Exactly. And that's why I say I want to show you how to bring this to real world, because your situation's different than Carrie's. Carrie has to go to work all day.
Right.
And she's a fitness person, apparently.
Yeah.
Her MLM and everything. So she's naturally, she's meal prepping, and you can tell she's got her picture down here. She's on a yoga ball. So
Yeah.
It's probably more natural.
Right.
Get her exercises in. Whereas like me and you, we know it makes us feel better, and that's the reason we do it. So you need to make your day, and being so flexible, put it in through your day like that. Work an hour, get 10 minutes, just do something body weights. That's going to keep your energy up through your whole day.
Right. No, that makes sense. Yeah. That's something that I think that would just make me feel better just at the end of the day, just knowing that I've been, I've worked and also have gotten some kind of exercise in. It's more of like a mental thing too, because I know I have ability. I know I'm not utilizing my schedule at an optimal level.
Yeah. Well, and that's all of this is.
Yeah.
Everything in business or life, if you're going to succeed at it, it's all mental.
Yeah,
Everybody
is.
focuses on the courses and learning stuff, but it is all mental. If your mindset's not right, it's not going to work, period. So little shifts like that. Now, see, this is your decision. You have to make the decision that every hour on the hour, or every, an hour is easy. Every hour on the hour, set an alarm on your phone. The decision has been made that every hour you'll walk around the block once, or you'll do 10 squats and 5 sit-ups and 5 dips. You know what I mean?
Right.
What you're going to do and when you're going to do it, and make the decision. This is what I will do, period. Every work day. Every work day, I work for an hour and I do this for 10 minutes. That's a decision. If you don't say you're going to, and you say, I like that idea, that sounds like it would really work.
Right.
Now that hasn't made a decision. But if you make a decision, you say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to work for 60 minutes, take 10 minutes to work out. Every single day that I'm working, my work will go down like this. 60 minutes work, 10-minute workout. 60 minutes, 10, 60, 10. If I'm working, that's the schedule of my day, period.
Yeah. No, that breaking it down like that makes a lot of sense.
And you make that decision, and that makes it work in real world in a way that you'll actually stick with it, because your mind will start to tell you, hey, you missed your workout.
Right.
You'll see the time and you'll be like, oh, dang, and you'll do it because it's what you do.
Right.
Not, oh, that's a cool idea, Aaron. That really sounds like it might work.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's definitely something that I think that would just, I guess, shift my mind into knowing that I'm getting my workouts in, and I think will bring my energy up. And once I feel like I'm in a rut, because once I have my energy up, I can wake up earlier and just, I've tried. So I don't know if you're from out here in Charlotte. I'm from North Carolina as well. So Burn Boot Camp, I did that 2 days, and then I quit because it was just like, I had to wake up like around 5 a.m. to make the classes. And then I was in pain for like 3 days. And I was like, so I feel like I went full throttle right off the bat, and just like, it backfired on me. So I felt like I was at a loss, but I feel like kind of like baby steps in a way to just kind of get your stamina back up and just get going in the right direction really would work for me.
Yeah. Well, and this is the way I do it with everybody. And this is the only way that it sticks. And this is the only way that it lasts long term is
Right.
1, you have to make the decision. 2, you work backwards slowly. If you want to get up at 5, you can get up at 5, but
Right.
that means instead of getting up at 8, you get up at 7:45
Right.
for a week to 2 weeks. And then you get up at 7:30 for a couple weeks. And then you get up at 7:15. And then you get up at 7. This may take a month and a half, 2 months to get back.
Right. Right.
If
Right.
you jump from 8 to 5, you got maybe a week in you, maybe.
That-
And you're gonna be
Well,
back
that's like to the T exactly what happened to me. Like I did it for like, I don't know, maybe like 4 days, 5 days. And then I was just like, no, I can't do this. So, and then that just obviously brings out more frustration than anything. So,
Yeah, you start to feel like a failure. Oh,
Yeah.
I set this goal and I was going to do this and then I
Yeah.
didn't. And this is
Yeah.
what I want to get through to everybody is January, the statistics show that literally within 2 to 3 weeks, the gyms will be empty again. 2 to 3 weeks is all it takes for everybody to give up this New Year's resolution. But that's because
Yeah.
they do just that. They say,
Yeah.
okay, the ball dropped. Magically, I'm a different person. I'm going to spend
Right.
2 hours a day in the gym, and this is going to be the new me this year. There's no
Yeah.
way it's working.
yeah,
If they
It
knew
does.
January 1st, I was going to hit the gym for 20 minutes on my lunch break.
right.
And that's non-negotiable for the first month.
Right.
At the end of the first month, they'll be finding ways to be there longer and stretch their lunch break just because they've
Right.
gotten so easy and it's easy to learn.
Right.
So the next thing you need to do is that with your real estate. What is it you like about wholesaling, real quick? Why-
Okay, so just real quick, I just feel that it's something that so just my skill set currently, just what I've built myself up to. I've started way back when I started in banking. I started in sales. I've worked myself up to on the business side, and now I'm on the technology side. So I feel like my skill set can translate to that. And I obviously like the I guess risk to reward aspect of it as well.
Yeah, it comes really fast.
Yeah, and I do feel that it's a way to build your I guess your finances, if you will, for just future funneling of other businesses or other ideas. So that's really the reason why I like the wholesaling aspect of it. And being that I have a career, I am passionate about my career. I've put a lot of time in my career, and I would want to stay in my career until I can build a business that can sustain the career that I currently have.
Right. Okay. Have you heard of assignment?
I have, yes. I don't know
So-
the ins and outs of it. No.
Yeah, I understand. Focus on wholesale and assignment. So this is what I say, any set aside time where you say an hour each day after they go to bed or something like that, right? Make a decision to set aside however much time you're going to set aside. If it's half an hour at your lunch break, if it's an hour when everybody goes to bed, whatever it is, set a definitive time decision, right? This is when I work on real estate, period. And then we'll look at wholesale and assignment. They're basically the same thing, but wholesaling, you have to actually purchase the property. It gets titled into your name, and then you turn around and sell it. And you're going to be subject to capital gains taxes up to like 38%. If
Right.
you assign it, you're actually signing a contract saying you're going to buy it, but then you sell your piece of paper to somebody else. And they buy it instead of you, and you'll get taxed at your income level instead of capital gains because you never own the property.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
So
Okay.
anytime you focus on real estate, if it's half an hour at lunch, an hour after go to bed, whatever, only look at and only learn and only watch and only follow anything that has to do with assignment and wholesale, period. Don't waste your time with flipping. Don't learn commercial real estate. Don't get into rentals. Don't pay any attention to it. If it doesn't pertain to wholesale and assignment, don't screw with it.
Gotcha.
This is
Okay.
going to keep you very focused. So if
Okay.
you stay have half an hour at lunch, you'll learn a lot because you're only learning about wholesale and assignment. The differences in how
Okay.
they Okay. And
Okay.
then make a decision that at whatever time it is, that's what you're going to work on. You're going to work
Okay.
on an assignment on those times. Because if you're at ground zero, you need to learn all about it.
Right. Yeah.
So your learning needs to be dedicated to that.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean that you're going to not get sucked into the black hole of YouTube and end up on a video that has nothing to do with wholesale and assignment. But as soon as you realize that you're watching something that doesn't have to do with wholesale and assignment, your mind will start to say, whoa, wait a second, this isn't wholesale or assignment. I need to find another one. And you'll skip over
Gotcha.
what it is because you know, and you've made a decision to focus on those two things.
Okay.
Okay, if you just say real estate, it's too broad and you'll watch every video and you'll just stay confused.
Okay.
Okay, so those are the decisions you need to make. When are you working out? For how long? What are you going to do? Right? And then, I give you an example of how you could work that through your day to create the energy.
Right.
Because we're not after some bodybuilder physique. We're after the energy throughout the day so we feel
Right.
good.
Right.
So to make those decisions, this is how I work out. This is when I work out. This is when I work on my work. And this is how I work on my work. 60 minutes and then 10 for workout, 60-10, 60-10. This is my family time. This is my real estate time. And on my real estate time, I only work on wholesale and assignment. Get
Okay.
very definitive decisions on those things. That will provide the clarity to where you'll focus in those areas.
Okay.
Make sense?
No, that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. Well, what would you say for, again, my background is not real estate. I have very minimal real estate. Like when I first started out my career, I used to do refis like, I don't know, back in like, 07 before the, the real estate bust. But what would you say is this really a black hole? Is this something that I'm going to have to do extensive research on? What is your take? I mean, I know that you have a background on that. So what would you say that I would need to dedicate in order to just kind of come up to speed on wholesaling and assignment?
Got your pen and paper handy?
I do.
Okay, you need to learn how to estimate repairs. You need to learn how to pull comps and figure out what it's going to be worth after it's all fixed up, the ARV. And you need to learn how to make your offers. Are you still there? Are you still there, Jessica? You loser. I might have lost her. Carrie, you feel solid on everything for today?
I do. Thank you. I've actually been taking notes and wrote my decisions down. So
Good.
it's very helpful.
You're in the group, and there's something I want to, if you feel comfortable with it, it'd be good. Write your notes down inside the group, inside Momentum Entrepreneurs. Jump in there and say,
Yeah.
decisions I've made, because it creates accountability. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Feel like I put this out there in front of some people, and they're going to see what you're working on. Just so you know, and anybody else who watches this later, is I'm protecting this group. The Momentum Entrepreneurs, I'm not allowing guys in. I'm not allowing people in to sell stuff. This is not a group where you have to put on a facade and look professional to me. This is a group where you get to be a real mom, a mom who you actually are, and come up with your struggles and what you're really working on and work through them. So I'm not expecting facades and having to look perfect inside this group. I'm expecting this group to be a place where you know that there's nothing but moms in there and me. and it's a place to be real and to figure out the problems and get real accountability and real actionable steps like this. So posting that stuff up in there and what you're struggling with or what you're trying to do is going to be good for everybody. Even though
Right.
MLM are different than Jessica with real estate, both of you are picking stuff up on making these decisions in your life. Okay?
Right.
And people are missing out on this by not being a part of the challenge, but they're still going to get something out of the notes that you have if you decide to share what you're working on.
Okay. Perfect.
Moms to be real moms doing real stuff.
Yeah. Thank you.
But I'll have to shoot her a message and get back to her on the other stuff.
Thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome. I'm going to call it a night for now. We still have like an hour and a half of driving to get home, so I think we're going to start heading that direction.
Okay.